Well said.
And that's how it starts, B.
That's perfect.
And that's how it starts.
That's so perfect.
So I think that'll set the tone for this episode. Obviously, we got, new T-shirt idea coming out and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one, man. Because I'm gonna give y'all a little hint. Reaganomics.
Yeah, I think it's a good. I mean, yesterday when we were talking about it, man, let me tell you, it was probably one of the funniest things I've ever done in my life.
Before we got cut off and started getting to our conspiracies about the fat people fetishes.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
Well,
yeah,
was it at fat people or feet?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think somehow we were talking about how there's that weird fetish where like people will feed like fat people because that's what sexually turns them on, and I think that transitioned into feet.
Bro, I don't know. I just remember us talking about the parking lot and walking, and we could have listened beforehand and made sure.
That was probably a good idea, but
if we don't even remember how they were, we were here.
Yeah. So welcome back to the Brews and Bros podcast. I'm Brandon.
I'm Brendan.
And so yeah, obviously we don't remember where the last episode left off. So.
But guess what? We're outside right now, chilling, fighting against COVID.
That's very true. We're outside right now. It's nice outside. It was hot today, though. It was hot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, being from Colorado, like, it's always funny to me that, like, when people are like, oh, like, I'm from Texas, I know what he is, or I'm from the South, like, I know what he is, and, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, dog, like, it's Colorado. Like, we're used to, like, nice things and nice temperatures, and it gets anything above 80, dude. Here, it's rough.
And it flips on a dime out of nowhere. Because it's weird, because 80 in, like, Florida is very different than 80 in Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
80 in Nevada is different than 80 in Colorado. And it's like, oh, you have these more humid states, and it's obviously different. But Colorado is just, like, an amalgamation where it's like, oh, I'm dry. But here comes the humidity in 30 minutes. Wait, no more humidity. But here's some hail and snow.
Yeah, because was it yesterday that it was humid outside, or was that today?
It was...
I think it was yesterday.
It was this morning because we had to go to the bank.
That's right, we had to go to the bank this morning.
Because I thought, I'm dying. I can't breathe. It must be the Rona. But I was like, wait, no. Oh, it's just humid out.
Yeah, because like you can like kind of like almost like smell the moisture in the air,
and you feel it in your lungs.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, is this shortness of breath? Is this it? Did it catch me? Am I gonna be gone? Turns out no, just tonsillitis.
Yeah, that's just it, dude. It's hot, bro. And like even now, like obviously, like it's not like super hot right now, but like. You can tell it's warm.
Right. And I'm sure people are wondering, the whole 5 that listen, hey, if it's so hot, why are you recording outside? Because we're in the shade out here by the house. The sun's getting ready to go down. And check this little nifty feature out. It's cooler out here than it is inside the house.
For real. Like, I'm telling you, man. Like, I was telling some of my coworkers that, like, when the sun rises, because it rises the same way that my bedroom faces,
we call that the east.
And so, dude, it just, from like, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning till about, noon, it just bakes my room, bro.
You just sitting there like a potato?
Dude,
get some aluminum foil in it?
Straight up. I brought a fan up from upstairs. And, dude, it did nothing for me last night. Nothing.
Just blew the hot air on you, directed it, said...
Well, no, so, like, so I opened my window because I was like, okay, well, if it just, draws in some of the air, it'll kind of help make it a little bit better. And then that wasn't working. So I said, okay, well, maybe if I just blow some of the air up into the ceiling fan will help do its job and kind of cool things down. Not even close, dude. It was like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I was like, dude... I just can't stay awake. I was like, I'm just baking in here, bro.
When you're sleeping in your room butt naked, but you're still sweating, and you're like,
dude, that's the worst.
What's really bad is, like, when you can't sleep without a blanket, but it's too hot to use the blanket, and you're just sitting there baking, and you can't sleep, you're like...
So I've had that problem at your house, where it's been so hot in there, and you're like, well, the blanket's right there. And, like, there's been times where I haven't used a blanket because, like, just being in my shorts... is fine enough, and I'm like warm all night.
And there are moments like that too, but that's why I try to open that window and like get the fans blowing. But sometimes it go like really, really chilly out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Because that's what happened last week. Because I said, oh, dude, I don't think I'm going to need the blanket. And the next thing I know is I, like, woke up in the middle of the night. I said,
well, that's because
I said, it's a little chilly in here.
That's because I swapped the fans. I said, here, try this one instead.
I said,
like, this one's more angled for the position of the couch that you're going to be on.
Yeah, and it's just, it's weather is wild, bro. So obviously, like you were saying, like, 80 degrees is different everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that I've noticed is that, 80 degrees might feel different somewhere else. But if it's over 100 degrees, bro, it don't matter where you're at, dude. That shit sucks. That shit sucks anywhere you go.
I'm from Arizona. It's always over 100. Why are you bragging about that?
Yeah, it's like that's not...
Bragging about that is the equivalent about bragging that you raped somebody.
I don't know if I'd go that far. B.
It's distasteful. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you do. Get out of here, you nasty.
Yeah, and it's like, I remember, so this was right before I joined the military. It was probably, like the tail end of the first semester or it was, I think it was it was a tail end of the first semester of senior year. And so we had what they're called pool functions, because you're called poolees. Mm-hmm. And so you go and you do these things where they, like, you just, like, work out for however long, and they try to, like, just slay you or whatever. And we were up at the Air Force Academy on something, and it was cold.
Shout out to the AFA.
The AFA.
I almost said AFC. I was like, what the hell is that?
And so, like, it was fine during the day. Uh-huh. Like, it was a little chilly, but, like, again, being from Colorado, like, it's a nice fall day, so, like, you're like, okay, cool, this feels great. But, like, at night, it gets cold. And so we're standing out there, we're all freezing our fucking asses off, doing whatever. And,
whoa. The peanut gallery.
I don't know if they heard that. I'll have to check the audio later.
Sorry, guys. Well, if you hear it, you hear it. If you don't worry about it. Anyway.
Yeah, so some kid had asked me, like, we were just, out there bullshitting or whatever, so, conversations just kind of go all over the place.
Right.
And someone has said, would you rather be cold or hot?
I was about to ask you that same thing.
And so, at the time, I wasn't, like, too attuned to being cold.
Right.
Despite being from here.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never been so hot where it's like, dude, I, like, want to be cold.
So you went to Kuwait?
Until I had gone to, 29 Palms and Kuwait and all that stuff.
Oh.
And bro, I was like, I think I'd rather be hot. And some kid, he goes, you're dumb, dude.
Just you wait.
I said, what? He goes, bro, He's like, think about it like this. He's like, if you're cold, you just layer up, grab a couple more blankets until you're warm. But he's like, bro, you're hot. He's like,
what are you doing?
He's like, what you gonna do? He's like, you strip down your, your bare bottom hanging out. He's like, what you gonna do? It's still hot. He's like, you can't cool off at that point. And so then it had, like, all of a sudden just, like, shifted my whole life perspective. And I was like, golly, he's right, dude.
But I'd rather be cold because, like, even just putting, like, a little blanket on or anything, just I like having a slight chill everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, even when, like, you're outside, it's cloudy and rainy, like, I don't have to wear a jacket. Probably should to not get pneumonia. But, I mean, just in general, like, when it's breezy out, short sleeve shirt, with the house, 69 degrees, I'm chilling. No pun intended.
Yeah, for real. And, and it's so funny, like, being put into a position where it's, like, you're just hot.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, for me, at this point, like, just to, like, straight up just at a bare minimum be comfortable wherever it is I'm at. If I'm hot, dude, it's game over. And what sucks even more is my body has terrible temperature regulation. So if I get, like, the moment I start to think that it's hot, I'll get hot.
Oh my gosh.
And then it's just downhill from there.
Have you ever, like, just sweat? Like, you're not hot, but your body's like, it's a little hot out, and you just start sweating a little bit, and you're like, why am I perspirating? Why is this happening? Bro, stop. It's not that hot out.
Or it's like when someone, like, you'll feel comfortable, and then someone will be like, it's a little warm in here. And then all of a sudden you're like, golly, it is warm in here. And you just start sweating your ass off.
Would you rather... Jeez.
God.
You know what? I like it outside, though.
Yeah, it's nice.
Different.
This is different.
But
change of pace.
Yeah. But would you rather be in a 90-degree humid climate area or 120 degree dry heat desert.
Honest to God, dude, the dry heat, bro.
Really?
So, because obviously humidity just adds to it.
Mm-hmm.
It just, the whole air feel, like we were talking about this morning, where it's like, you know, just the air feels sticky. It just feels gross, dude.
Your lungs are like, what is this?
Yeah.
You don't smoke. Get this out of here.
Yeah, dude, and it's just like, it's rough. And so being from Colorado, obviously we typically will have dry heats. But I had never really, so I had been to Florida when I was in high school. And so that was like my first real, like, I guess,
Humid adventure?
yeah.
Because the ocean's right there.
And, dude, that was rough. Like, you'd just be standing outside not doing shit, and all of a sudden, you know, you're sweating your ass off. And it's just because, you know, and it's like, well, I don't know if I'm sweating, or am I creating condensation right now? Like, am I a cool beverage?
In a cozy world?
Yeah, dude, for real. And so then you start thinking about it, and it's just, but like, you know, like I said, being from Colorado, it's, you know, we're used to the dry heat anyway. And so, man, I take that dry heat because like in Kuwait, dude, that heat, because it's right there on the Gulf.
Yeah.
And dude, that shit is no joke, bro. It's like 95 degrees outside, but it's 93% humidity. Christ. And you just walk outside and you're just drenched.
That's too much.
And it's just, but you know, like I said, for me, as far as I'm concerned, once it gets past 100 degrees, that shit just is terrible. It don't matter where you're at.
He says that's for the birds, bro.
It really is, like straight up.
Well, I'm trying to think because I don't like icy roads either, but I prefer the cold. I wish that there was just like that fine median of like it's snowy out, but the roads are fine.
Well, and that's the other funny thing. So, I've had dry cold here because obviously we're in a dry climate.
Mm-hmm.
But then I've also been in the Midwest where, you know, it's straight up just, it's cold, but it's like a humid cold. And
humid cold?
Dude.
It's not like when the ice is in the air and you breathe and you go, hey.
Well, no, and that's the thing is, like for me, it didn't feel any colder. Like, it was cold, obviously, but, like, for me, it didn't feel any more cold than if I was here. But with it being cold and then being humid on top of that, if you stand outside for a couple hours, bro, good luck.
You frozen?
Dude, no, I got sick.
You're going to be a popsicle?
When I went to Iowa for my buddy's wedding, it was cold the day of the wedding. So, like, you know, we did the reception and everything, and then we went to go take pictures while we were standing outside, and it started to get, like, really super cold to the point where a bunch of us were freezing our asses off. And, bro, it was, I flew back, felt great. I don't know if maybe the travel had something to kind of do with it, most likely. But, dude, I got back, and the very next day after I landed, I was like, you know, oh, man, like, you know, I don't feel very well, and I got sick. And
it's weird because I remember we've talked about this before, but it really kind of gives you a whole new outlook on how the Donner Party did it, as long as they did.
So, and when that's the thing though, is like I don't know, like obviously, like I'm not a goddamn weatherman, so I don't know how like where climate zones change, and if it's like just like if it's like a Minecraft world where all of a sudden it's like, you know, you got something that's really nice, and then bam, the next thing you know is that you just hit a wall of snow.
Right.
I don't know if there's like a weird like fade in between the two, where it's like a weird kind of like, you know, temperate zone or whatever.
Right.
You know, I don't know, but like my guess is because I also can't remember where exactly it was that they were.
Right.
When they all started to, you know, just say, hey, Billy over there don't got a blanket. He'd be looking kind of mad. You know, we need to keep an eye on him. And you know what I mean? Where it's like, you know, what exactly was it that, you know, like how, like, was it like humid cold, or was it just like straight up just fucking cold?
Well, from my understanding, I'm pretty sure it was just cold, but with how things were back then, like the clothes were probably a little more flimsy.
Yeah.
And so what happened is, from my understanding, is like they were going, and so their clothes were, of course, they're walking more than you should be in the cold.
Yeah.
And their shoes are kind of going out, so they're walking barefoot on like foot-high snow in the mountains, trying to hold each other to sleep at night to stay warm. And then they're just like, we got to keep going. We got to keep going. Like, we don't have food. Like, well, we have these little jerky bits. Just take this as much as we can. Keep going. And it wasn't until one of them finally died overnight, or of a heart attack, I'm trying to remember, that they were just like, well, he's dead. I mean, we didn't kill him, but there's meat.
That's the craziest thing to me, like, is like how important food is to your survival. Obviously, you can survive. Like, nowadays, I would say we'll just use Americans as an example. Most Americans are a little portly.
Yeah.
You know, and
Portly,
so,
yeah.
You know, so they got a little
porky.
They got a little extra something on them.
A little.
But, dog, we're not talking about TLC's My 600-Pound Life right now.
My bad. Lost 1 pound. Shout out to her.
And, you know, but, like,
You
it's so crazy to think that, like, how quickly... okay, I'll go back a little bit. Mm-hmm. So, obviously, with people being a little bit porky and, you know, having all that stuff on them, like, you could survive a long time without food.
But your brain's probably telling you at that point.
And it's a huge mental thing. And being like, you know, like, oh man, I'm super hungry, like, blah, blah, like, I could eat anything, and, like, you know, and just trying to, you know, deal with that. I think nowadays, a lot of people would resort to cannibalism a whole hell of a lot quicker than people, like, in the Donner Party, where it's like, oh my god, we've been up here for X amount of days.
Well, that's the thing. So, get this, all right? Because there were separate, like, parties in the Donner Party, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, if I'm not mistaken, one of them, there was this one dude. I can't remember his name. If I remember it, I'll let everybody know. But he was the guy who was like, well, these people are the weaker links.
Uh-huh.
We could just kill them and then just eat their, you know, flesh. And everyone else was like, bro, no, chill out. And he was like, I. But if I'm not mistaken, I think he did start, like, killing people off discreetly.
Yeah.
And we're like, look, they're dead. And everyone's probably like, yeah, that's mad convenient that the person you suggested we kill died.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to look that up real quick. Because if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he ended up going with them all to, like, Oregon.
I think that's where they were trying to go, is because I don't know if they were necessarily on the Oregon Trail or whatever it was. Like I said, you know, being the quote-unquote history buff that I am, and me enjoying history, like, there's a lot of things that, like, you know,
there he is.
I don't quite understand about history.
No, there's a lot I don't understand about how things work. Even still, how people just think, because everybody's obviously different, but there is, like, a uniform ideology that everybody kind of has, you know, kind of formed into the social contract of, hey, killing people, bad, things like that.
Yeah.
But there are some people who, like, they're like, I don't care. You know, I got to do what I got to do, or I'm going to do what I want to do because I got to get blah, blah, blah. People just break it for whatever reason or other, but found this dude's name. Louis Kesselberg. He was branded the killer cannibal of the Donner Party. When the last of the 4 release teams arrived, because they had relief teams, because that's what it was, I think someone made it to Oregon by foot and was like, hi. And they're like, dude, you look messed up. He's like, forget what I look like. There's
other
a
people.
bunch of people still up there. And so I think it took them like a few days to get to them, because they had to make a couple trips. And the lakeside camp in the Sierra Nevada mountains in April 17th, 1847, to recover what was left of the Donner Party. The log cabins built by the Maroon pioneers were silent. So, you know, let me see here what happened. He reportedly acted cruelly toward his own family, ignoring his daughters and abusing his wife, and often didn't treat other members of the party any better. On October 5th, James Reed murdered a teamster during a quarrel involving oxen, and Kesselberg vocally supported Reed's execution. And long story short, Reed was like a war veteran who was like, I'll help escort you guys. And he ended up getting into a fight because he was mentally strained.
Yeah.
He ended up getting to fight with this guy that everybody liked because the guy would make him laugh. But hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm sneezy today. But yeah, I guess they got through an altercation, and I shouldn't be laughing, but just the whole thing is kind of funny because Reed then kills the guy while they're fighting, and everyone gets so bummed out because the one guy that Reed killed, again, just over a dispute, was the one guy that kept everyone's morale up because he was like cracking jokes, keeping everyone happy.
Yeah.
And they were like, Reed, you son of a bitch, get the fuck out of here. And Reed legitimately got on his horse and said, fuck you guys, and just turned around. And I think he ended up leaving, and he joined another army or something of that nature for a little bit. Long story short, I believe Reed actually made it to Oregon somehow, and he was one of the people that sent the rescue teams. Like, that was the irony of it all. But long story short, this Lewis guy was just a total asshole about it.
Well, that makes you wonder, like, you know, like, obviously, like, if that's his first go-to is, like, you know, openly support his execution, is what, you know, was he thinking about just eating people to begin with?
That's the thing. You never know that stuff. I'm trying to see if I can find, you know, that stuff so I don't read this whole darn thing. Forlorn Hope was in there.
Can't Forlorn Hope? That's where the Legion's at.
Oh,
NCR out there.
Legion NCR. Look it up if you don't know what it is. They're battling for the Hoover Dam right now as we speak.
Right now. 200 years in the future. Okay, so while you're looking all that up, you know, I'm gonna pose myself a question. Like, I've always thought about, like, Fallout, obviously, because, you know, for the, again, the 5 people that be listening to this, you know, obviously, you know, Fallout is, you know, a huge game that, you know, both of us are into.
Amen.
And, you know, but, like, I think about, like, the apocalypse. Like, I'll be, like, laying in my room, and I'm like, bro, what if it just happens? You know what I mean? Like, there's, like you have to think that, like, in the Fallout universe, that the American populace had no idea when it was going to happen, obviously. And, you know, that's why, you know, you find skeletons and people, you know, all over the place. But, like, you know, if it does happen, like, is it going to happen just like Fallout? Like, what if... So, obviously, everybody knows that Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, for those who don't know, everybody knows that dude's a time traveler. Or he'd be talking to some aliens.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Who be knowing some stuff. But, like, you know... Like, what if, somehow, some way, it's kind of like you and me, where we talk about something and bam, all of a sudden, things be going on. By the way, Bethesda, Brews and Bros podcast be looking for some royalties on your Fallout TV show.
We brought that up last week, but we mean it. We want some serious moolah. An 80-inch TV and a broken TV from the pawn shop.
A broken TV from the pawn shop, that's a decoy.
Ah, great, now they know.
No, they don't. Because they're going to forget. They're going to forget.
Oh, yeah, nobody listens.
That's true. But you know, but like, you know, obviously you and I were talking about how, you know, how if, you know, that we had our say, what we would like to see, and, you know, this, that, and the other, and, you know, all of that. But,
right.
You know, I always think about it, like, it sounds kind of morbid to think about, you know, something like that, where it's like, oh, you know, I'm thinking about the destruction of the human race. Where it's like, I'm not thinking about the destruction of the human race. I'm thinking, can I survive in a post-apocalyptic scenario? Like, for real?
I'm thinking, would it really be ideal, or do I just like the concept in the video game? Like, would I really hate it in the real world?
You know, would I be a raider? Would I join the Minutemen? Who knows?
It's like when people say...
Depends on my mood the day.
Well, it's like when people say, you know, you have superpowers. Would you be a hero or a villain? And I would... In your head, you'd be like, well, I'd be a hero. But then, honestly, you think about it, you're like, bro, I wouldn't know until I'm in that position.
And that's my thing, is that you can't, for me, like, any scenario like that, where it's like, oh, I would do this if I was in that situation. It's like, well, you could think that, but if you're not, you know, like, if you've never been in that kind of a situation before, how do you know that's how you're going to act? You know what I mean?
Anytime. Whether it be something serious that happens, like somebody dies doing something, or like in a fight, and you're like, oh, well, I would have done this. Like, would you have?
Yeah.
Because I don't see you in the situation, so I don't know if you really... Not to discredit you, but would you have really done it different?
Yeah, or it's like, you know, obviously, I don't know if you took psychology in in high school. So a little preface, neither of us are psychology majors by any stretch of the imagination. But
we get psycho.
But I think it's a semester long class, and you go over like the real basics of that shit. And so there's that whole I can't remember what it is, like what it's actually called off. I think it's called like the mob mentality.
Yep.
Where if you won't do something if other people aren't acting, and you kind of more or less just want to fit in.
Kind of like when people record someone getting beat up.
Yeah.
Everyone records it. And but people watching it like, why is no one stopping?
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
Because you're at home watching. You're not there. You don't know if you would even step in to stop it.
Yeah, and so obviously, they use that murder of that woman as the example where it's, all of these people in these apartment complexes that were, watching her or hearing her rather, scream for help and all of that stuff that, people are not going to do anything because they just assume that somebody else has called 911. Speaking of which, there's sirens in the background. I don't know if y'all can hear them, but...
Is Hillary, she coming for us again?
Yeah, she is.
She already canceled one episode, boy.
But, and it's... And I think it's one of those things where it's like, yeah. And again, it's this weird, more or less morbid side of me where I'm like, oh, I think I'd do fairly well in that sort of situation. But the only thing that I ever think of is dude, I gotta find my people. That would be my sole goal. I'm telling you, because obviously, you live on the other side of town. And so, I'm like, dude, I'm making a beeline towards B.
Bro, I understand that because that's what I be saying. Because I also be thinking, I need to have as many, batteries as I could possibly carry. Car, you name it, just to have power. Just to
Dog, so I was thinking about that. So, every once in a while on YouTube, I will delve into, I wouldn't call them preppers necessarily, but they're those people who, are prepared for a situation where, you have to, have, a bug-out bag where it's, you just, you grab, a bag full of stuff, and you're good for, a couple of days at least. And, and then at that point, if everything blows over, cool, you can go back to where, you have shelter and food and all that stuff. And, going into that stuff, there's some people who are, it's it's obviously their mentality is we're prepared, so we're not those people. So, a lot of them used the whole, when people were just fucking stocking up on toilet paper and all that dumb shit, they would use that as the example and being well, don't be that person. You should have stuff at your house already prepared for the event that something happens.
That's why I buy that TP in bulk. I always have it, which is why I'm really confused as to why it's gone right now, but that's a story for another day.
And, and just, obviously, but, sometimes they'll go through what they have in their bags, and obviously it differs from person to person. There's,
some people need more calories than
others. There's the basic stuff that everybody will cover, okay, you need to have, water, food, X amount of days worth of clothing, stuff to clean yourself off so you don't, get sick inadvertently.
Yeast infection.
Or, stuff like that.
Athlete's foot.
But, a lot of them that I've seen will always have some kind of alcohol, in a flask. And it's you can use that alcohol to build rapport with people, to be okay, cool, I don't know who this group of people is. I can walk up to them and be hey, this is what's going on my side of things. And, and you can build that reputation and that relationship purely with a flask of alcohol. And I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I feel like that's a really good idea in concept, but you could just happen to run into the one group of straight edge kids who are nope, we don't do that here, and the next thing you know is you getting gunned down.
But the world is ending. Yeah, it don't matter, because that's like in Zombieland, because Woody Harrelson's character, when he meets not Michael Cera, what's his name? They all look the same.
Jesse Eisenberg?
Jesse Eisenberg. He meets Jesse Eisenberg's character, and he's he sees his whiskey in his car, And then he's like, oh, yeah, cool. So he pours them both up. And as he pours his, he looks out his window, and Jesse Eisenberg throws his shot out the window. And then he goes, ooh, make it look like he was drinking. Mm-hmm. And Woody was just sitting there, and he says, yeah.
And, and I think, it's one of those things. Obviously, there's the term boogaloo that's thrown around. And
that's now a, white supremacist terrorist term.
And,
they took it like they take everything else.
Well, it's that's a whole nother political thing that obviously I think on this podcast we do a pretty good job at not getting into those things, but it's obviously you have extremists on both sides,
right?
But I think in the term of that, it's not something they're like, oh yeah, this is what needs to happen. I think it's just people that it's just like everybody else. They have an opinion on certain things, and they're voicing that opinion. It might not be the wisest thing,
right,
by any stretch, but but again, this isn't a political podcast, so
yeah, get the hell out of here. You try coming for us, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna suck y'all's dicks.
We're just gonna pause. we're just gonna keep trucking, and so it's one of those things that obviously you have all of that sort of stuff where you have people who want their viewpoint to be number one, and I honestly, again, it sounds kind of morbid, but I don't think that something's going to change until something like Fallout happens, where it's such a drastic of a change where everybody's on the same page.
They got to be on the same page, otherwise
and at that point, it's literally you're on the same page, or you ain't getting water, or you're not getting food, or you're not getting shelter. And I think for me that was the one, I wouldn't say weird thing about Fallout, but it's so strange how certain people aren't more willing to just be okay, this may or may not happen. But again, this A, isn't a political podcast, and B, I don't have all the answers. So
yeah, I just kind of play it by ear. I'm hoping that I just become a radiated monster with a consciousness.
Oh yeah,
so I could just talk, but look like a zombie, be like, hey everybody.
Yeah, we already talked about that about our boy Oxhorn.
Yeah, dude.
We're just gonna follow that guy around.
Because I'm assuming he would survive. With his scotch and smoke rings.
I don't think he would.
You don't?
I don't. I think that a lot of, obviously, which is funny, this is very ironic for me to say because obviously this is what we're trying to do, but I think a lot of people who are internet famous and aren't necessarily big name people outside of the internet, I don't think a lot of them would have the means to survive. You know what I mean? Where it's just
you don't think Onision can make it?
Hell no, dude. OnlyFans ain't gonna save you when you need water, dog.
Bro, he got one of the man thongs though.
Oh my god, bro. But and it's I don't know. Again, I have a lot of morbid thoughts about how the apocalypse would shape out in the current United States of America, but at the same time, I think that it's not one of those things that I think would be it would be cool if it was like Fallout, but at the same time, most likely probably not. I don't think it would be cool to be like Fallout because you would have raiders, you would have gang members, you'd have the great cons out there in Nevada making drugs. Well, here's the other thing. When we talk about that, apocalyptic scenario, because everyone's like, oh, I'll be the cool guy who saves the day. No, you won't. Well, not just that, but check this out. All right, check this out. Ready? Everybody says, well, I could do X, Y, Z. I could do this. Bro, you know how I know that's a damn lie? I saw how weak everybody was over not getting some 2-ply. Dude. Dog, that's a good point. I watched the weakness on TV. I watched the world burn over toilet paper. Over toilet paper, bro. Over toilet paper. Imagine if, okay, let's just say, grand scenario, Fallout happens. Hey, everybody ain't cut out for it. Bro, everybody be their own raider gang over some fucking shit paper, dog.
Hey,
It'd be like, hey, you got something to wipe your ass with out here? That would be the currency.
my hand. That's it. Take his hand. We're using
That's
it, boy.
it. That's it. That'd be the currency, dude. Not
Just
bottle
TP.
caps, not money. Toilet paper, dog.
We try to give him some paper towel, and they're like, "What is this?"
They're like, you can't flush this down the toilet, you son of a bitch.
Get him.
It'll blow the septic tank out.
Execute him on the spot. He
You have
tried to
si-
pull a fast one on us.
You have signs saying no paper towels allowed. But yeah, man, it's just it's so strange how bananas the world gets over something like
The
toilet
slightest
paper.
inconveniences.
Literally the slight. Like, obviously there are still people on this planet who, don't know anything about technology,
Right.
and that they've just been hunter-gatherer tribes for centuries, and you're like, oh, well, here's this thing called toilet paper, and they're like, what the fuck's a toilet? And what the fuck is paper? It's like, you're telling me, and those are probably to be the people that survive. Those are probably the people who rule the world.
What do you mean, paper?
They're like, it would baffle them.
I think
Like,
most things will baffle these folk, boy. And not like to be like a negative Nancy about it, but I just really think that a lot of people would be bothered over minuscule things that they shouldn't be bothered about.
And I think that's the big problem with
I hope that didn't pick up on them.
and it's one of those things that, like, again, would it be cool if Fallout was real? Sure. But I remember seeing this thing where it's like, I now know that Fallout would never be real because out of all the things that I've seen, like, the American people aren't gonna be like willing to stay in a vault for that long. It'd be Vault 11 everywhere.
Again,
every vault. Vault.
Not to
Vault
be
11, dude.
Not to be political again, but you're taking away my rights by making me wear a mask.
Dude, so
you think you're gonna survive?
You'd think you'd survive in
You'll
an
be the
underground
first
vault.
to go. You are so weak that wearing a mask bugs you. You're gonna catch an axe to the face by some dude who's also not wearing a mask, but he's not wearing a mask because he already he Gucci. He got a gas mask. So he ready.
Yeah, dude. It's just it's so baffling that, like, I guess, don't get me wrong. I think the population has been spoiled with like those small things where it's just it makes my life more convenient to act that way or to have that certain item. Toilet paper being I think a huge one.
Right.
Where it's like, being in the military, you can't always wipe your, like, you don't have toilet paper. Obviously, like stuff like MREs, like, it comes with like a little roll of, like, I swear to God, it's not even 1-ply, bro. It's like half-ply. And you have to use, like, you'd have to, like, use, like, the whole fucking pad just to wipe your ass. And it's like, people will, obviously, it's been proven, will, riot over not being able to wipe their ass comfortably.
Oh my God. It's just so crazy to think.
That's the real apocalypse. God damn, if Charmin decided, you know what, we're out. Fuck that. We're not making toilet paper no more.
You know what? We have all these ones to wipe with. You can go fuck yourself.
They're like, yeah, we wipe our asses with $1,000 banknotes.
With our
Fuck you.
checks.
They're like, fuck you, pleb.
You turned us from a multi-million-dollar company to a multi-billion-dollar company. Thanks.
Dude, fucking Jeff Bezos, bro. That's gonna be the guy. He'll be the guy. He'll be the guy who he's definitely building the vault. You know, obviously, like, celebrities, you know...
You think maybe he already does have the vault?
Oh, for sure.
They put the guillotine in front of his house. He's like, yeah,
he
right.
He said, okay, check this.
He's going to do this. He's going to go walk into a machine. It's going to start reading some shit. Next thing you know, a clone of him is going to pop out of a machine. He's going to say, get him dressed and send him out to them.
I'm telling you, bro, money buys a lot of things in this world, so...
It cured Magic Johnson's AIDS, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And it's just, you know, it's so strange. I honestly think that, like, if, let's just say, all the corporations in America were just all of a sudden, all band together and just say, fuck it. We're not supplying you with that anymore. You know, the world would fall apart. You're telling me that places like, you know, what the hell is it, S.E. Johnson, a family company? They're not a family company no more. They stopped making all that shit. Dude, they make fucking everything, bro.
Bombs.
They make everything, dude. And it's just, it's so absolutely 110% baffling to me that if they were just to stop, the world would literally fall apart.
You're telling me, dude. I mean, like, I've seen what these people do for the TP, dude. I don't even think what they would do for, like, actual essential needs. If you need some food, oh, there's not enough food. They're going to be like, let me grab my little fire axe here. What do you need that for? Don't worry, Jeff. Don't you worry. Just keep on walking.
Yeah, man, and it's so crazy to think that, again, the slightest inconvenience in, like, modern human existence would dismantle the entire world over something as stupid as being able to wipe your ass. Obviously, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to walk around with an itchy ass all the time.
I'm not trying to walk around stanky like I don't wipe, but
at the same time, it's like, dude, if the circumstances dictate that you're out,
you know, TP.
You're just out of TP.
There's other ways
hey
to
man,
do it.
That shit sucks.
Well, think about it like this. What did they do before TP? Huh? What were they doing? Obviously, they had something that they were doing. If it was using their hands with one hand, eating with the other, you know, you going in the lake to clean off, so what? Some of you could probably just hop in the shower, get it clean. But then it touches my foot. Dude, you are too privileged.
Yeah.
Oh, he's out. He said hello.
The dog says hello.
The dog said,
he's going to be barking for the next 18 years.
Well, not just that. The dog said, dude, they're right. He was agreeing. He voiced his opinion.
Yeah, dogs don't wipe their ass.
Yeah.
There's not a single animal other than human beings who wipe their ass.
Sometimes a dog will do that thing where they scratch the shit off their ass, but that's different.
I think that's different. I think that's the other, like, medical issue.
I think that's just like when they scratch it because they'll just drag across the grass or something.
Yeah.
Because my dog would do it, but he doesn't do it all the time. But it's like once in the blue moon, he'll be like, ah.
He'll be like, bro, my ass will be itchy as shit.
When they do it across the floor and they got the little legs up, and you're like, what are you doing? Quit dragging that crap stain all over my floor.
Yeah, no shit.
You POS. And viewers, you're about to hear some kind of audio, but I just want you to know that it's just me showing Brandon that I was making something for this episode for y'all to just, you know, glare at and enjoy.
Oh my god, dude, that's the one. Jesus H. Christ, dude.
Yeah,
that's
buddy.
The one, bro. But, you know, and it's just, it's so strange that not being able to wipe your ass will dismantle the entire United States.
Well, it's weird because it's like
they don't have toilet paper on Fallout. Obviously, it's a video game, so it's not like you're taking a shit.
You can't even pee in that game. You know what though? Hold on, I have a gripe with that stuff. With all that
about video games,
movies, you name it. It's like nobody ever uses the bathroom. I know what you're thinking. Well, I mean, they probably are off camera. Like, no, it's really something they don't think about. Like, they must have like some super bladders or something. Because like, let's look at Heavy Rain for example. Homie Sean is like in a drain for 3 days. No food, no water, no bathroom. They pull him out. He don't smell like shit. He smell like rainwater. You know, you be watching Mission Impossible. They have the homie Tom Cruise tied up or whatever, however long. He don't ever poop. He be on a plane flying through the sky, doing everything. He don't use the bathroom. They don't ever pee. They don't ever shit. And when they do, it's usually for some kind of comedic effect, like in James Bond, when the one guy's taking a dump and he gets garrote wired.
Oh yeah.
I'm just being honest, player. Don't nobody use the bathroom or nothing.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that it's like, for whatever reason, I think it's just because like using the bathroom makes you vulnerable, like as a basic human instinct. You know, using the bathroom, you get kind of nervous. That's why some people can't piss in front of other people, or that's why some people can't take a shit in a public bathroom.
Bro, get over yourselves, man. I mean, I understand being quiet when the guy come in the bathroom when you in the stall, sure. But if you like are just chilling and then we just let it out, dude.
I'm telling you, that's why I wear headphones at the gym.
But bro,
dude, just blow it up, bro.
But even still, that's why I was telling you, I have a TikTok idea, y'all. Don't steal it. But just have the guy with the headphones on taking a poo. I don't know, just sitting there taking his daily dump. But then since he has headphones on, the guy will like knock on the door, go but he won't get a response because homie got the headphones in, and he'll just open the bathroom door because homie didn't lock it. Because some of you don't lock it in your own house or whatnot, and homie just gonna be making eye contact with dude with the headphones, and dude with the headphones just blank face is gonna stare at him, and it just kind of back and forth between them staring at each other.
Yeah, it's just that would be a minor inconvenience to people too. Be like, oh man, I gotta take a shit. I gotta take a dump in private. It's like, dude, it's the apocalypse. There ain't nobody fucking else out here. Just take a shit.
Bro.
You're telling me that, goddamn Oonga Boonga out here just being like, ooh, I gotta take a shit, I'm gonna walk over there. They didn't give a fuck. They were just dumping all over the place, bro.
I mean, I would imagine in like an apocalyptic scenario trying to find somewhere secure because you don't want to get John Travolta and clapped right off the toilet.
I get that aspect of it.
That you gotta be safe. Just find a tree to put your back against. Like do the squat where you're kneeling.
It's just like if you're near a building, put the building to your back. Do a wall sit.
Yeah, do a wall sit and just
take a shit. And mind your business. Move on.
Move on with your day. Move on with your life. Move on, dude. And just live your own apocalyptic nightmare.
Live your own Fallout nightmare.
Quit ruining everyone else's.
And it's like, and I think it's funny. Kind of to bring it back to Fallout.
Yeah.
Taking the whole drinking out of toilets thing out of the game. Bro, I've seen some fucked up bathrooms, bro.
Like the one in Saw.
Oh, so there's that one? Dude, so in the Marine Corps, if you go to boot camp,
which you should
on the West Coast.
Oh, okay.
you go to Camp Pendleton for a couple of different reasons. But the reason, welcome everybody to me sending a photo. But you go to the rifle range because they don't have one within the city limits of San Diego, which makes 100%. It makes sense. Mm. But dude, it's like they must have used to they had to have made those toilets out of metal. The whole building was just rusty, dude. Not like anything super crazy. It's just a bathroom. But it's just rusty. They don't ever clean that shit out, so it just always reeks of piss. And it's just, obviously, it
They probably do it to build character.
Dude, honestly, I swear to God, that's exactly what it is. It's just a character building bathroom.
Some of you sissies ain't never used a Walmart bathroom in your life. Well, you're about to learn today what it's like.
And it's one of those things where, it's just a toilet, bro. And, it's the wildest thing to me. I think Brendan got to use it again, so...
That's how it be, B.
So, dude, I'm telling you, just put your back against the wall, take a shit.
Let's try this out. Patrick, I added some manure to your grass today.
Yeah, no shit.
If I stand up for a little bit, I should be good.
But, and it's just...
Keyword should be.
And it's just... It's one of those things that it's just... Don't get me wrong. I'm all for having a clean place to take a shit. I'll piss anywhere. You know, a little fun story. You know, it was like that night that we ditched that party, and I had to pee on the way back. But we didn't stop anywhere for whatever fucking reason, despite the fact that I thought I was going to piss my pants. I literally piss on the side of my house.
I've done that.
But, you know,
for different reasons.
And it's just, it's the craziest thing to me that, you know, you can't just it's just like, dog, just go to the bathroom. Be careful on your way back out here.
I do.
Make sure you close that door. Chris is going to get mad. And, you know, it's just, it's the craziest thing to me that people will sit here and act like being able to go to the bathroom is it's the largest inconvenience. I swear to God, B, you blow this toilet up and they hear you, bro, all self-respect gone.
Don't worry. I won't. Figured it's a true way to keep connected, fool.
I'm honestly surprised that we never thought about this earlier.
Bro, listen, it was just an idea.
I guess it works because this is the second one. This is the second one that you had that you had to use it.
Yeah.
And now the people are gonna be like, why does this sound so Skypey all of a sudden?
At least on my end, on your end, it sounds probably pretty good.
Yeah,
I haven't guessed.
On my end, it probably sounds pretty decent, but I mean, you on a speakerphone, so.
Bro, this is a crazy good idea, and I just gotta mute it whenever I'm doing my thing.
I mean, I guess that's true. I suppose that you know that's a true fact of life, but you know, at this point,
Wendy's though, just I know Wendy's, Asiago, or whatever they had.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure because I had the same problem, but you know that Wendy's, I mean, it was good. Do not get me wrong. But holy hell, I think it fucked with my stomach. I think eating fast food is a terrible idea for us. I think we need to start eating healthy.
I'm thinking that it's because we've been putting the extra workout in, and so our bodies are probably starting to reject more of the bad stuff.
I suppose it could be that. That makes sense.
Did you put so much good stuff into your body, and then finally, when you start putting a little more bad stuff in it, it's like, who the fuck are these guys? Your stomach's just like an Irish bouncer, like, hey, buddy, who the fuck are you, eh?
Exactly. But, you know, it's just, you know, I kind of can't remember what we were talking about, which isn't necessarily good for a podcast, but, you know, I think, you know, like, okay, I remember now. So obviously, you know, those toilets was all rusted out. And just, I remember walking into that bathroom on the range and being like, dude, this is the worst thing I have ever seen in my life. Like, I've seen some other, you know, I've seen some shit. I've seen, you know, I've been in some, you know, some semi-disgusting situations. But holy fuck, like, this is the one. Like, this is the one thing in my life that I swear to God, if I was to ever fucking have to die, I would wish that it would not be here. And, you know, obviously, I think it's... I think it's... Because you could drink from the toilets in Fallout 3, right?
Yes, because that's where I first learned it. And I only would ever do it as a last resort option, because that was nasty.
And I can't remember if they had it in New Vegas. I don't think they did. But I know in Fallout 4 you for sure can't. And
no, it was in New Vegas. It was because it was that engine, so you could do all that stuff.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. But
yeah,
but like, dog, I couldn't imagine being like, obviously, like in a situation of desperateness, you gonna drink from the toilet. Like, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know, you gonna drink from the toilet.
You could say, no, I never would. But again, you won't know until you get to that point.
Exactly, and you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, I'll drink from the toilet, because at this particular moment, I have zero reason to drink from the fucking toilet. And, you know, but God forbid the world run out of TP, you definitely gonna probably drink from a toilet.
You drink a 16-ounce glass out of that doo-doo water. I'll give you some sheets of 2-ply.
Yeah, no shit. It just America becomes like a whole game show of truth or dare, and it's just like, well, I dare you. It's like, I dare you to drink from that toilet for the next 30 seconds, and I'll reward you with a steak dinner and some toilet paper. And you're like, well, I don't know. I haven't wiped my ass with something in months.
And here's the real kicker. Since it's on like a time limit, the bowl water has to be at a certain level to get the good prizes.
You're just drinking bottom of the barrel toilet water?
That way I know you weren't just sitting there with your tongue in like the tip of your tongue on the water for 30 seconds.
That would be, oh my god. That would be rough. Like, obviously, so, toilet water is, technically speaking, fresh water. Like, it's not contaminated. I mean, it's contaminated once it gets in the bowl, but, like, you could drink, like, the toilet water from, like, the back of the toilet. But, like, you be going some places, dog, and they ain't got backs to the toilets. It's them automatic motherfuckers where they just, I don't know where the fuck that water be coming from. And, obviously being not a scientist or a plumber, I don't know how that shit works. But I couldn't fucking imagine drinking, like, out of the bowl toilet water. B, are you still there?
Like a Doge. Yeah, like a Doge.
Well, I mean, dogs don't give a shit. They'll drink anything.
Not anything, because they always smell whatever they do before they do it.
Yeah, they smell and they still fucking put it in their mouth.
Well, water, not everything.
I mean, okay, yeah, you're right. Not everything, but they be putting a lot of things in their mouth that they shouldn't.
They like that stinky stuff.
And and it's just it's so strange that like I couldn't imagine being so desperate for water that I would drink out of a toilet. But obviously, again, I've never been in that situation, so I wouldn't know. But at the same time, it's like I don't know if I would necessarily rule it out. I hear you, B. That's right, I hung up on you.
Sorry about that, folks.
I don't think you are.
I am, dude. Ow, because my booty is sore. That's what's really sorry. My ass for eating that Asiago. But you know what? That was a pretty good sandwich, all things considered. I'd do it again.
Like I said, it was good, all things considered. And the fact that, our booty be on one. But,
I just want you to know, since I just got back out here, that since it's a little darker out, the light from the laptop on your glasses makes it look like you got the rock eyebrow. I'm going to see if I can take a photo of this. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to diverge off the apocalypse, but...
But,
I'm going to see if...
And, yeah, so, hold on. Let me take this picture.
There we go. Oh. Perfect. Yeah, dude. I'm going to show you.
Oh, my God. Bruh.
There it was before you even did the face.
Can you send that to me?
Yeah, I'll send you both. Like the laptop, dude.
But yeah, man, it's just it's absolutely wild to me that the economy will dismantle if toilet paper companies decide to say fuck it. We're gonna hoard our entire stock of toilet paper for ourselves.
People who don't wear masks will clearly be the first to die in the apocalyptic scenario.
There's probably someone in your party right now, whether it's your family, your friends, they're thinking about eating your ass.
Hold on, real quick. I just want to say this because I know there's some people who can't wear the mask because obviously there's a medical condition.
Yeah.
But then there are those people who don't really have, but they just say, pre-existing condition.
Uh-huh.
I just want to see them in the apocalypse, like, you can't kill me, pre-existing condition. Like, that's not how that works.
Be like, you can't nuke me, bro. I've already been irradiated. They're like, I've had one X-ray, bro. I'm immune to irradiation.
You know, look at that scene from Terminator 2 when Sarah Connor has that vision.
Bro, That's probably how a lot of those people were out there, dude. Just, they're just minding their business at the park. All of a sudden, they see, and they're just like,
Skynet.
getting fucking smoked
By Skynet.
by.
I never would have thought Skynet was gonna bomb me.
I never thought Skynet would bomb me, but here we are. And it's again, the whole thought process of being in the apocalypse is bananas to begin with, and then you just all of a sudden, next thing you know is you're in it, and it's just like, well, man, I don't know, I can't wipe my ass, I don't got Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no TV, no Wi-Fi, no sports. What am I going to do? Well, I mean, this guy has a bunch of generators in his basement that could last hundreds of years.
No, that's stupid, dude.
But he has all these DVDs and all these extra...
He said, well, he ain't got the movies that I like, so...
Oh, my God. No, and the only reason I bring that up is because I've seen people who have that, where it's like an underground kind of shelter thing, where obviously it's really hard to get into it, but the guy who made it can get into it with his family. But it's got, like, when you walk in, a couch, some bunk beds, a nice, like, queen-size bed, bathroom access. I don't know what the water is. I don't know if it's, like, a natural kind of river thing where it's connected. Has, like, a sink, kitchen kind of scenario, a big old TV, security monitors, everything. I'm like, bro.
But that's like Far Cry 5.
It's exactly what it is.
Where, you have to go to, like, all of those different bunkers to, like, get, like, the extra stuff. And it's just, like... There's definitely people out there. Montana, that makes 100%. Like, it makes sense. Like, straight up, like, I would be willing to bet that, the majority of people who live out in, like, Montana and all that sort of stuff. Like,
I would guarantee Wyoming has one.
Oh, yeah.
That, like, nobody but Wyoming natives know about. It's like an inside joke where, like, everybody makes fun of Wyoming for not having a lot of people. Well, there's a reason we don't have a lot of people.
Check it out. You're going to be crying at the gate when the bombs drop.
And they just have like this utopian society underground.
It's like perfect. Everything's all well.
They can keep a constant source of energy forever. Water, they figured out how to combine the hydrogen and the oxygen to make water. And constant flow of all of it. They're bending the elements.
They got plants down there doing photosynthesis shit.
They have clones of cows to make clone burgers.
That dog be on one.
He's cute though. I like him.
Yeah, he's tiny. Someone will come out here in a couple of minutes, tell him to shut up.
I like the dog.
But I would say that this is probably a pretty good spot to end it. I know you probably I know you probably aching to get home.
Not aching. Nothing. I'm just worried about, ironically enough, going to pick up toilet paper.
You better be careful. Stay strapped, B.
You got to, man.
But with that, obviously, we appreciate you guys for listening. We appreciate, all the support we've been getting.
Hell yeah.
Check out the merch, check out the Instagram page, check out the Facebook page, check out the Twitter. We don't post a whole lot on Twitter, which is, my fault, just because I kind of forget that it's there.
And we both have full-time jobs. Leave us alone.
But with that, our little shout-outs, make sure to check out all of the friends of the podcast links below in the description for the YouTube people. And, all of that, blah, blah, blah. And, I can't think of anything to say. You
got to click the subscribe, click the bell, do the comments, do the shares. Shout-outs to my homie Bart over there. And do you have any more thoughts, or can I finish it with this last thing?
As far as I'm concerned, I think, this is a pretty good ending, so go ahead.
God bless the USA.